hilarious, Craig. Come on.
I'll be smiling for that opening frame anyway.
Right. How you doing,
All
Brian?
right.
Good to see
Good,
you.
Craig. How are you?
I'm doing good. I see the beard, man. It's really
It's
growing on
huge.
you.
It's all the way down to the middle of my chest now.
Wow.
So yeah. So for example, you can say here,
Wow.
middle of my chest.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's down to Iowa.
Yeah, it's down to Iowa there on the Ramones shirt.
I think you're getting into ZZ Top
It is
range there.
It's wizard range, as I say.
How?
Somebody was saying all old men, when they grow a beard, either looks like Santa Claus or a wizard.
What do you say about me then?
Well, when you grow a beard.
What? Yeah, that's a 5 o'clock shadow, Craig.
Yeah, it's almost 2 years for me. So
I've seen homeless people.
We're looking at one. I'm just kidding.
You guys, thanks for waking me on your podcast. I heard I can get a free meal here.
Calling in from the warehouse with all those boxes in the back.
Wait till after the show.
Still there, talk.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
All right, we need to share this, Craig.
Need to share this.
I did.
Share on Facebook. Go to Technorama page.
I've had the beard for a little while. I just I don't let it grow too far. I don't know. I just don't like it when it gets too long. Not so much of it. Well, it does a little bit. I know you need to let it grow out a little bit more before it quits doing that, but I don't know. It's just something about when it gets longer, I don't like it too much.
I work from home, so for the most part, I was like, it saves me, 20 minutes of shaving.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Add that up over the course of a year or 5 years or whatever you got to.
And all those Harry's subscriptions.
Yeah. Well, it saves me in, shaving cream, razors, whatever else. So
you gotta, comb it out.
I do. I have a nice beard. I have a beard comb and a beard brush. I also, after I shower, I put beard oil in it. So I did that. On my off days, a lot of times I have this beard balm that I put in it that keeps it from this little crazy flyaway. Right?
Yeah, kind of shape it a little bit.
Yep, shape it a little bit so that's not so crazy flyaway, and it works really well. Conditions it.
Welcome to the Beardcast, everybody.
Beardcast. Welcome to Watching Paint Dry podcast.
This is stage 0. Craig's got stage 1.
Wait a minute, I've seen a picture with you with a beard before. You can grow a beard, can't you?
Yeah, I can.
Blotchy the pirate, you mean?
It's going to come out somewhat grayer than yours, but not quite as white as Brian's if I tried it again.
I went white when I was 30. That's the thing, all those
I've been white since I was born.
Oh, wow.
Wait.
We're going to go there. Yeah.
Tip your server. Make sure you have a backup first.
Try the veal.
Tip your server, but back it up first.
Yeah.
I liked your meme. What was it last week, Craig? With the old lady at the laptop, she's saying, "Back up my hard drive. How do I put this thing in reverse?"
Right. Yeah.
Nice.
It's an old joke.
But old lady with the glasses looking at her laptop, right?
That's right. Yeah, it's an old one, but a good one.
All right, we got 3 people on there. Hey, I'm going to guess one of them is John Miller Jr. He's a regular. Then we should begin our podcast. Craig, give me a quick audio check.
Check. Hello. Check. Checking all day.
Good enough.
All right.
Good enough for Alphonics Works. Okay, and you're in charge of titles tonight, remember?
Sure.
Whatever. Okay, and I am hitting the big red record button in 3, 2, 1. Technorama episode 664. Don't interrupt. Hey, welcome to Technorama. This is the show that takes a lighthearted look at tech, science, sci-fi, and all things geek. If this is your first time joining us, well, thank you. Thank you very much. Not sure where you found us. Could have been under the couch with that nasty French fry.
and that ball of hair.
All right. Could have been. I don't know where you found us, but thank you for finding us anyway. If you're returning, well, put it back under the couch. I'm Chuck Tomasi from sunny Phoenix, Arizona, and joining me as always, right there, is Craig Stepp. How are you, Craig?
I'm doing good. I'm doing really good.
Excellent.
I'm happy we got an extra voice in the mix tonight.
And in the basement with the boxes, if you're watching the live stream, it's a longtime friend of the show, Brian Brown.
Hi, guys. Thanks for letting me do something social in my basement.
Yeah.
Wait, I'm in Arizona. There are no basements in Arizona, Chuck.
At
They
least
don't let you out
at
much.
least it's your house and not
Yes.
your parents' house.
Very true. Very true. It'd be
Yeah.
very crowded if it was my parents' house because my sister would be there as well. So,
Wait a minute. Are those boxes from when you moved in there?
yes.
You still haven't unpacked them?
I don't want to talk about it, Craig.
It's just like, just in case,
sensitive.
we got to get back out.
Sensitive subject.
Craig, you don't want to talk about why Kim's at another house and you're at your house. I don't want to talk about the boxes.
I'll talk about it. It's no problem.
No, I mean, yeah, this is my office, and so I haven't unpacked my office. It's just like, meh.
No.
Yeah, it's all my office crap that I just don't have places to store it because I don't have bookcases anymore in here because they destroyed the bookcases.
Well,
so
just to let you know, in my vast estate, I actually have two homes.
Oh, do you really? Wow.
Yeah, little mountain house. It's
okay.
It's bigger than a tiny house and it's smaller than a one you want to live in full time, probably.
Okay.
So
she having a mystical retreat of some sort, or
no, she's up there with the dogs. She'll be back tomorrow.
Oh, cool.
Girls' night out. Woo.
Yeah, it's like you guys are batching it. It's crazy.
Yeah, she runs out. Yay! And there's a bear. Oh, get back in.
The nice thing about me batching it is I lose weight.
True.
Actually, yeah. If all I want for lunch is half a sandwich, that's all I gotta have. Like, we got a cruise coming up, and I need to lose about 5.
You need to get that girlish figure back out, right?
That's right. Swimsuit season is coming.
Yeah,
yeah, that's right.
He said swimsuit. He didn't say bikini, Craig.
Yeah, I was
mankini.
Speedo.
All right, let's get on with the listener feedback before the show deteriorates even further.
Letters. Oh, we get letters. We get your letters every day. Mailman, mail today. Reach right in and pull one out. Those letters. I love those letters. Let's find out what you got to say.
Oh, boy.
Mailman, mail today.
All right, we're going to start with our question of the week. Well, that's all we have is not really a start or end to this. Our question of the week last show on episode 663 for you was, what is your comfort show that you rewatch when you're sad or sick? And Mike Robeson said, warning, not particularly good titles about to be named.
Okay, that's fine.
That was not the answer we expected. He said, Evolution.
Ooh,
Knights of Badassdom.
Okay.
The Stand, the 1994 version of The Stand.
Okay.
Godzilla, Edge of Tomorrow, and Lord of the Rings / Hobbit. Okay, that's on my list as well.
So movies as well as TV shows.
Movies, TV shows, yeah. It's like, okay, I got laid up with the flu for a few days. What's there to watch?
Yep.
I guess we should have put in Read, maybe. Oh man.
Oh, well,
yeah, that's woof.
You got another one, Craig?
Let's see. I have one on when I shared it. So Brian Parker says The Wiggles. Stay in a bad mood watching The Wiggles can't be done. That's what he says. I probably agree with that. Yeah.
I'd say the same thing about watching Groucho Marx. I just can't get enough of that guy.
Oh yeah.
Sweet Steve London has Firefly, SG1, SGA, and SGU. Sounds like he's building a server farm or something.
I was gonna say,
full of TLAs.
His list is long enough. He must get sick a lot.
For movies, he says Serenity, We Were Soldiers, Black Hawk Down, Saving Private Ryan, Olympus Has Fallen, and London Has Fallen.
Wow, lots of boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
That's right.
What else you got?
Let's see. He also, by the way, he also posted a pictures of Firefly. And it says Firefly addiction. It says 10 hours and 57 minutes of bliss, a lifetime of withdrawal. I agree with that.
Yeah.
John Kratzer says Last Man Standing with Tim Allen. It said Tim makes him laugh.
Okay.
He also, John Miller Jr. put in, what was it? House?
Yeah, House MD.
Still reigns supreme. Let's see.
Yeah.
I think I had some comments on my share as well.
Oh yeah, this one. Okay, it's on yours, but Gary posts one that it's pretty obvious. TNG.
Yeah, you could take just about any episode, not all of them, but any episode of TNG. He also had the Repair Shop, which is a fun British, kind of like these American Restorers kind of thing.
It was on Netflix, I think, isn't it? Also?
Yes.
Wait.
Yes, I like
any episode of TNG. Are you talking even first season, Chuck? Come on.
I'm saying almost any episode.
Okay.
I'll watch first season, but I know when
you're
it really
a
gets
glutton
good
for punishment, sir.
But it gets good when they get the collars.
Yeah, which was more like third season.
Right at third season, yeah. Well, remember third season they had a little bit of mix. They were transitioning. Some of them people had the old costume, the whole suits, and then other people had the
they
collars.
didn't finish making them, so not everybody in the crew got them. It was kind of like, how we transition logos at work. Not all the websites get the new logo.
Just some of them.
And then you get pointed out on Zoom. Why are you wearing the old uniform?
Right. He also put in the Clone Wars and West Wing. And interestingly enough, Amy Bowen said TNG for her too.
Oh yeah.
I thought she would have been the Star Wars girl.
Yep.
Jack Mangan put in MST3K. That's a good one. You can pull up almost any episode of MST3K and feel better.
How about you, Brian? What's your go-to?
So TV wise, Eureka for sure of TV
good
shows.
Call. Yeah.
It's lighthearted enough and it's usually pretty good. Movie wise, it's kind of a variety. I really like Mr. Baseball with Tom Selleck. It's one of my favorite movies.
Oh yeah, God, I hadn't seen that in forever.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, it's a cute tale. I like a lot of rom-coms in general. My wife gives me a hard time about it, but I've slowly converted her, slowly but surely. John Miller Jr.
backwards. Usually, I don't want to stereotype, but isn't it usually the women who like the rom-coms that have
2022? Come on, Chuck.
That's me.
I'm just
me.
saying,
I like it.
Good.
Office Space is a great one too. John Miller Jr. mentioned that. He asked where my red stapler was.
Yeah.
Excuse me, sir. I believe you have my stapler.
And we told I could play my music at an acceptable level.
Yeah. Sandra listens to her headset while collating. I was told that I could listen to the radio at a reasonable volume. Yes. I've seen it a few times. I also like The Replacements with Keanu Reeves, where he plays the quarterback.
Oh yeah. God,
it's an excellent movie too. Yeah. I really like Guy Ritchie films, so Snatch is always a big one with me. Snatch, Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels.
Yeah.
Always enjoy those. I have so many movies on my Plex server. It's just nutty. So
it has to be. See,
I don't think she's listening tonight.
Well, for that, for this kind of situations where you're sick or sad or just want to chill out, I think it has to be something you're super familiar with, that you've seen 100 times.
So you don't have to think real hard.
Or something lighthearted enough where you don't have to invest a lot in it. So just kind of go with it and,
unless you have a nasty cough, you don't want to be laughing then. that can be catastrophic.
You can't stop.
Right.
Yeah. That's right.
I got to be careful.
Just like there you go.
My mother-in-law has, some respiratory problems, and you don't want to get her laughing, or you might be there for a half an hour waiting for her to calm back down.
Yeah.
Like, God, I killed Grandma.
Craig's looking for a die.
No, I had him right here. Where?
Oh, Craig. All right, we'll play the music while you look for your.
Yeah, play the Jeopardy theme.
He's gonna have Google do it again. Rolling right into the. On this day in history for February 9th. Okay, wait, we forgot to. Hold on. I forgot to roll. That was a whole discussion about the D20. I'm like,
we're going, Chuck.
It's like, wait, who goes first? We better stop.
I just had him here. I don't know.
Technorama has changed since the last time I was on. Quality level down.
When was the last time you were on?
That's all right. I'll just ask Google for it.
Months ago.
So I was curious yesterday. So I went looking to say, when was the first On This Day in History? It goes way back further than I thought.
Talking about on our show?
Yeah.
Well,
so we started May 1st, 2005. Our first one was in late June. Was it June? Remember, we used to do 2 shows a week.
That's
It
right.
was like episode 27. And it wasn't even called On This Day in History. I said, we're going to try something new. And then we just kind of went into it. Had this really mellow music behind it.
Do you have the music?
We for a while, we called it On This Day in Geek History. Then we called it On This Day in Tech History. We were playing some of Beethoven's Ninth Symphony in there. I don't know if you remember that. That lasted a while until Michael coughed up this music. I said, I'm looking for something kind of, Monty Python.
I got something for you.
Yeah.
Here, let me write something.
He likes feeling useful.
Or he's like, well, let me go to my library of vast amounts of music bits I have.
He left some of those behind for me, but now
left a lot of stuff behind it for.
They're a little retro. Yeah, including some friends. Did you find your D20? Can we get on with the show?
I got Google up.
The shed, have you at all? Because that's don't.
The shed is gone.
Oh, good.
It got so rusted. I told Luis, "You want it?" And he wants everything. I gave him some agaves the other day.
Nice.
Okay, let's roll them. I got a 10.
Look at there. I got a 20.
I don't believe you.
Did you roll online? Did you bring up a D20 roller online?
I just said roll a D20 and Google does it.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I do too, because I don't have any dice in here, unfortunately.
Yeah.
They probably are in the boxes.
I think you can even tell it to roll it like a D5 and it'll do it.
What did you roll?
I rolled a 12.
Oh, okay. So I'm last. So it's Craig, Brian, Chuck.
Okay.
Let's try this again. Wow. Well oiled. On this day in history for February 9th, 2022, this is the 40th day of the year in the Gregorian calendar. There are 325 days remaining in 2022. Go, Craig.
It was on this date in 1870 that the U.S. President Ulysses S. Grant signed a joint resolution of Congress establishing a U.S. Weather Bureau.
Thank goodness. We didn't have weather before 1870.
We didn't know what it was. Yep.
Yeah. We need to organize this phenomenon.
Also on February 9th, 1895, William G. Morgan created a game called Mintoinette, which soon became referred to as volleyball. There you go. Small fact.
Renamed.
Yeah, exactly. It's Let's call it volleyball.
Mintoinette.
Yeah, Mintoinette. Yep.
A group of meteors was visible across much of the eastern seaboard of the Americas, leading astronomers to conclude the source had been a small, short-lived natural satellite of the Earth. It came crashing down on this date in 1913.
Wow. On February 9th, 1942, year-round daylight savings time, aka wartime, was reinstated in the United States as a wartime measure to help conserve energy resources. Did it work?
Hey, let's reenact wartime.
Yeah.
I'm sure that'll go over well.
Just what we need. That's right.
Also on February 9th, 1959, the R-7 Simorka, the first intercontinental ballistic missile, became operational at Plesetsk, USSR.
Oh, that's not frightening at all.
Nah, is nothing. Is merely a guard dog.
Don't look. Look away.
We have first intercontinental ballistic missile.
Ours is larger than yours.
On this date in 1964, the Beatles made their first appearance on the Ed Sullivan Show. Really big show. They performed before a record-setting audience of 73 million viewers across the United States.
Wow. Apollo 14 returned to the Earth after the third manned moon landing on this date in 1971.
And 51 years ago today, Satchel Paige became the first Negro League player to be voted into the USA Baseball Hall of Fame. Huzzah!
Yes, we're starting to make progress in the 1970s.
Yeah.
It was on this date in 1978 that the Bud, with 2 Ds, Bud Company unveiled its first SPV 2000 self-propelled rail car in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
And on February 9th, 1986, Halley's Comets last appeared in the inner solar system. And I heard it's coming back with Kiss for a farewell tour 12.
It's coming back with the Who and the Rolling Stones.
But it's going to be a new lead member.
Yeah, that's right.
Like Journey or Queen.
On February 9th, 1996, Copernicum was discovered by Sigurd Hoffman, Victor Ninov, etc.
What? They don't remember. Talk about. I was embarrassed.
Yeah. Hey, I was 4th on the list. Why am I not on there?
I got a coffee mug. Thanks for discovering Copernicum. Okay, not even spelled right, guys.
Yeah.
Happy birthday goes out on this birthday to Hungarian mathematician and academic Farkas Bolyai. Oh, he must have been a real Farkas, that guy.
Yeah.
He was born on this date in 1775.
I swear he had yellow eyes. Anyway, German engineer and businessman founded Maybach. William Maybach was born 176 years ago today.
I think I had Maybach for breakfast.
You may balk or may not.
Born February 9th, 1865, German geographer and geophysicist Erich von Drygalski. There it is. Whew. It's a mouthful.
Carmen Miranda, the lady who had a fruit salad on her head. That one, the Portuguese-Brazilian actress. She was born 113 years ago today. I think the fruit has spoiled since then.
Probably.
Maybe. Born February 9th, 1918, American chemist Lloyd Noel Ferguson.
Also turning 79 today is American actor Joe Pesci.
God,
Remember,
that blows my
don't
mind.
go through drive-through.
Yeah, it was just, why is it the drive-through line that everybody remembers?
Everybody remembers? Yeah, I know.
But yet, everybody also remembers from Home Alone. Also born on that same date in 1945, American mathematician and academic Carol Wood.
Oh, wait, it's my turn. American actress, activist, and former fashion model Mia Farrow is 77 today.
Also turning 68 today is English cybernetic scientist Kevin Warwick.
And born today in 1960, American biochemist and astronaut Peggy Whitson. We have some listener birthdays this week as well. Today, February 9th, is podcast Mike Wills. It's also longtime listener Zach Agulian from Appleton, Wisconsin. Drace on the 10th. I'm sorry, Zach was on the 10th, and Drace is on the 10th as well. Longtime friend of the show, fellow Friends in Tech member Douglas E. Welch of Career Opportunities Podcast is on the 14th, as well as Andrew from Illinois. And rounding out our top 6, Philip from Australia on the 15th of February. We also have some unofficial holidays here.
Oh.
The 9th is National Pizza Day, National Toothache Day, and National Bagel and Lox Day. So choose where you want to get your toothache from, the pizza or the bagel and lox. Oof. That's the way it was on this day in history for February 9th, 2022. Good timing, everybody. Did you get the birthday link up there, Craig?
Yeah, sure.
He is now.
Yeah.
Almost like we planned that. The music is not done in post-production, in case you were wondering.
If you want to get on the birthday calendar, go to chuckchat.com/birthday.
There it is. For viewers it's on the screen. For listeners, you heard Craig.
Here.
Don't
it's flashing on.
It's in 3D.
That's right.
Okay. Let's get on with some news, shall we? Random blue button here.
Good news, everyone.
Oh, I missed the Dragon Con parade.
What? Oh, I was like, why'd that break? I got you.
Okay. Now, our first story is about a new lightweight material that is stronger than steel. The illustration looks
like a cookie.
I sent it.
Yeah.
Or a bad pizza.
Yeah. Somebody with OCD made a pizza.
Yeah. On lines.
They have to be, the pepperonis must be integrated.
Yeah.
This is about a polymer. And polymers, as you know, are the basis of plastics. And polymers are made up of littler things called monomers. I learned that from Julie when she was a freshman in Michigan Tech College. And I sent this article to her. And she said, "Hey, this is fascinating." I said, "Does it apply to you in work?" She says, "I don't know how yet, but I'm going to keep an eye on it." I said, "If it's true, it could change the world." So what we've got is normally when you connect up polymers, they're like one-dimensional things. They're just little strings of spaghetti, and we somehow make plastics out of them. What these scientists have been able to do is get them to behave where they create sheets of plastic, actually discs, and then from the discs, it's more it's solid instead of porous. Because when you put polymers together to make a plastic structure, it's got you probably notice this when you put like a flavored drink into a plastic cup, and then later you drink water after it's been washed, and it still tastes like that flavored drink. It's porous. It's got some of it stays in there, and which is kind of nasty now that I think about it. What other bacteria and whatnot are in the plastics? But this gives us more of a solid, straight, and they said we could be using it for coating maybe automobile parts or buildings, bridges. They said this feels like when personal computers first came out, and they were picking like obvious use cases. It could help balance your checkbook and keep track of recipes, right? Nobody envisioned what we could have done with computers 40 years ago, what we're doing with them today. Live streaming, we've got our own television station right here between 3 people in 3 different locations. That would have been unfathomable when personal computers first started coming out. This has that kind of feeling too. It feels like they're picking some easy use cases that this could initially be used for. Very strong, very light. They said it's what was it, half the weight of steel, but like 6 times stronger in terms of the torsion and the tension and the whatever you do to test these things out. Just really amazing material. So this really could change a lot of things.
What else was interesting I thought about it was that the fact that it'll completely prevent water or gases from getting through. Yeah. So think of the barrier that it creates. So it doesn't have those gaps like the stuff we have now. So that's the cool thing. It's like, boom.
Instant, there was a lot of technical stuff in here that I was going, I got to send this to Julie. I hope she can be on the show tonight to explain it to us. A lot of it was kind of like, about 2 degrees over my head. But the general theme was in there. It's very light and strong. It says the researchers found that the new material's elastic modulus, which is a measure of how much force it takes to deform a material, is between 4 and 6 times greater than that of bulletproof glass. They also found that its yield strength, or how much force it takes to break the material, is twice that of steel, even though the material has only about 1/6 the density of steel. Yeehaw!
It's impressive. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what makes me think, what can they make out of this? Who's got the imagination to take that and make the killer use case to really bring this to life? Now, it is patented. They did file for patents on this process. Was it MIT guys who were doing this? Is that what it said? Yeah.
Hey, I got the killer use case. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead, Brian.
I'm going to make a Craig step suit. So there we go.
What?
That's I'm going to make the most awesome phone case.
Yeah. Awesome. I mean, I was just thinking coating on cars, how often do your cars just degrade, especially in Arizona, from the sunlight?
So use that instead of like that super shield turtle wax stuff they put on at the dealer and have to refresh
or
every 6 months.
On the coast when you got the salt water and a lot of rain and
salt water or waterproofing things. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Ships. Yeah.
Ships. You're always
cargo containers. Many things. Cargo containers for one, because think about how much lighter they'd be and just as durable.
They talked about the process of this, and it didn't sound like it was that big of a deal. It was sort of like
creative chemistry. Is what they said.
Sort of like the process of how they discovered nylon. What was it? Where they had
LSD.
They had the 2 liquids, and there was a barrier between them. And then when they started drawing out the barrier, it's like, hey, look, we've got this
stuff.
Synthetic fiber.
Okay. Yeah. I made a new drug.
Yeah. All sorts of inventions are like that. They're just like, these are side effects of something they're looking for. Like there's a diabetic drug that's called an exenatide. It was meant originally that they were looking for a snake bite venom preventer, for when you get a snake bite. And they found out, hey, by the way, this actually works great in diabetics in slows their digestion down, and so thus their peaks and valleys for absorption of foods and sugars and whatnot slows down, and it's excellent for diabetics. In fact, I take a variation of one, but came from Gila monster spit of all things. Go figure.
Gosh.
Isn't that supposed to be venomous?
Super venomous. Yeah.
Hey, I
wasn't watching. You just put some comments up there. Did you put Donna's on there? Donna's watching.
I did.
Hey.
And you
I got another application for you.
Yeah.
Condoms. You can work. Fix the male ED problem.
That actually is not a bad idea because again,
stronger than steel.
Nothing's going to get in or out. So not only for STDs though, I'm thinking STDs as well as pregnancies. So
that just bounce right off of it. I got another application, which is a segue to our next story. Is how about a Terminator dog?
Oh,
make one out of plastic.
I see what you did there.
Yeah. So these Terminator dogs, and these are real. They look like the Boston Dynamics robots. They're walking on the different terrain. They're actually going to put these on the border to help supplement the border patrol. They call this new technology, which is really the dog robots, man's best friend. There was a lot of jokes going around because they look like the dog robots in Black Mirror.
Yes,
roaming around
so much.
It's frightening.
Well, the idea is they want to reduce human exposure to life-threatening hazards. They're especially walking around in the dark. They got cameras and all that kind of stuff.
Landmines.
They have landmines.
Well, they're used in the military.
For landmines,
that's what they want to do.
Yeah. They're using the military for border patrol and whatnot. So it's sort of like when do you send a drone versus a manned vehicle?
Yeah.
Okay. This would be the same kind of thing. Only
they're using
let's send in the robot.
I don't know
dog.
they're going to have landmines there at the border, but it could be.
No, but if you were in, say, a war area and you didn't know if there were landmines, but you suspected,
it would be
rather than having a guy out there with the landmine sweeper, send the dog out there.
Oh, I'm sure they've been doing that now, but with these things, I'm sure, because they're really good at navigating this weird terrain, whether it's rocky or sandy, like they can do it very well.
The one thing I noticed was if you watch a dog, a cat, a horse, most animals, when they walk, their back paw print goes right into the same place as their front paw print, which makes me think of the line from Star Wars that they always walk single file to hide their numbers.
Yeah, right.
But these robots don't exactly do that. The back leg doesn't go down into the same spot.
Yeah, but they just kind of make a hole. They don't really, because they don't really have a paw like so it's
the one on the beach had like big padded feet, almost like a camel's hoof.
Yeah. Anyway, I don't know. There's no wording that they're putting weapons on this thing, but I could.
What do you mean? They had the one video with the gun on it.
There's a camera on top.
Video? No, did you watch the video?
Oh,
at
the
video. Top? Yeah.
No,
gun.
I didn't. Oh, okay. Never mind. I didn't see the video.
These things can be frightening if you want them to be.
Yeah.
I can just see that there's a dealership with these things. Would you like the camera option? Would you like the gun option? The stabby knife option?
I'm just waiting for AI when it finally lets loose and it starts looking for things. It goes, oh, I can look at that dog robot, and possesses it, so to speak.
Didn't Terminator say this was a bad idea? Yes, it did. Yeah. Yeah.
Listen to Schwarzenegger. He knows.
We made it past August of 1997 without Skynet going live, so I'm counting this as bonus time.
It was 2027, actually. They were off a little bit.
Oh, my.
Yeah.
I like seeing technology applied this way.
I do, but I worry about it sometimes, too. But that goes with just being a human being on the planet Earth.
You don't have to walk your dog twice a day.
Chuck wants a personal home version of it.
I do.
Right. You're like, I have to hear my neighbors, get them in one of the robot dogs. They won't bark all the time.
Hey, put fake fur on it.
Hey, just put a leash on it and walk it down the road. That thing.
Right. Is that little hoppy trotty?
Hey, have it stop, lift its leg, and then keep going.
Neighbors are like, what you got there, Chuck?
Your dog is leaking.
Chopper, sick balls.
Fetch.
Brings home a minivan.
Yeah. Oh man.
Well, that's the news stories we have, but we've got more. Wait, hang on. There's hacks and strange stories.
Yeah, the space shuttle was fitted with a robot dog. No, I'm just kidding.
Yes.
Oh,
Fires off robot dogs at random in
I should
space.
have said the robot dog came back with a 747. That would have been a better segue.
There you go.
Brian, would you like to lead us into this story?
So this story is really long, so I highly recommend looking at the show notes and reading through it because there's a lot to unpack in it. It is
Videos.
fascinating. Yes, so interesting. So back in 1983, when there was only the only shuttle carrier was this converted 747 Boeing, and it used to carry the space shuttle on top of it. And so what they were doing at the time was they're taking the space shuttle around to various places in Europe. Of course, 1980s, height of the Cold War, and somebody pointed out that the Boeing 747 had been modified to basically have anti-missile capability put on it.
Heat-seeking missiles.
Yeah, well, it was basically what it was is just defenses. It's countermeasures. It wasn't actual missiles. And so what they did is they reached out. The author of the article reached out to NASA's History Division to ask about, hey, we noticed something really strange. Can you tell us about it? And so,
went, no.
Yeah, pretty much. We're the government. No, we can't tell you anything.
It wasn't so much that it was. We've got the Freedom of Information Act, and that duration has passed where we can ask for this information. But they said there really isn't much to find. It wasn't documented real. Where did these get applied? Because they went around from Air Force Base to Air Force Base in the U.S., and then they went over to Iceland and Scotland and
Paris.
Germany and Paris. And I wasn't even aware that they had this whole PR program, because the Enterprise was the one that it was originally. Here's a trivia question for you. It was originally called the Constitution.
Yep.
And they said, no. The Star Trek fans got involved and said, you got to call it the Enterprise. So rock on, Star Trek fans. We can not only rename a space shuttle, we can bring new series to life, Strange New Worlds. But that aside, that it was like a different version of the design. They said it would be easier to build new ones with the new design than retrofit the Enterprise. So they said, well, let's just use it as a showpiece. It's a glider. It's a demo model, basically.
Right. Yeah.
So
it was meant for atmospheric tests, basically. Yeah.
Yeah. And I thought that's a good use for it. But they had to have this. It was originally an American Airlines. I thought that was a fascinating evolution too. You could clearly see they just removed the logos. It still had the silver body and the red and blue stripes on it.
Then and you could see where the logos were. That's the funny thing.
Yeah. They probably just painted over them.
Well, what I found fascinating is they went to Boeing and said, hey, we need you guys to do something for us. Boeing's like, okay.
Yeah. Hey, by the way,
they said it took them about a week to figure it out and to install it, and basically had infrared, defenses put in place.
Yeah. So these are right behind. They're on the engine mounts.
Right.
The struts that hold the engine to the wing, and they almost look like security cameras in a way,
or something. It's kind of weird.
And they thought they were, what was the code
speed
name?
Cameras.
They had a code of the Have Charcoal / Matador. They had code names. In the update at the very bottom of the article, one of the guys said, no, it's the model earlier, the Q32 or whatever it was called.
Right. The QRC 81.
Yeah. So this guy knew his stuff and said, I don't know how he knew that they weren't the Have Charcoals, but they were an early model of so the heat-seeking missile. They were afraid of surface-to-air missiles, the SAMs.
The man-portable ones that were coming out at the time, because that was the big thing. Was like, you could guess what? You could put a guy on the ground with a man pad and you could shoot down a jet plane.
And very real. There was conflict going on between the Israeli Arabs and the Soviets, and this was a nasty time. There were terrorist actions being taken. Look at Lockerbie and flight, was it 800 or 808? So planes were coming down, and they said, we got to protect our assets. So they installed this thing, and but nobody really knows when exactly it happened, which I thought was fascinating.
Somebody came in overnight. Stuck them on.
They knew a guy who could do it. You know,
it wasn't an overnight thing. It
right.
was, they had to have stopped somewhere. They said they didn't stay long enough in Iceland. They didn't stay long enough here. I was watching the news articles, and they were supposed to fly over the Rockwell factory in Scotland. And they said, oh, well, coincidentally, it happens to be the 1-year anniversary of this particular Rockwell office opening. So they had people there at like 7 a.m. and they're all lined up with their cameras. The thing was like 5 miles away. You could just see it in the haze. Going, what? The fans were not happy in Scotland that day.
That's funny.
That I bet. Yeah, it's really fascinating. The pictures are really cool, but it's really neat. Dig into the article and look at it and read it because it's a lot to go through.
Yeah,
little piece of history.
Hey, what's funny, Chuck, is you mentioned of course, the famous write-in where they changed the name to Enterprise. You know, Constitution was actually the class of the Enterprise, so it kind of was apropos. Wouldn't you say?
We can do one better.
Yeah.
Well, otherwise, what would they have put on the beginning of the Enterprise TV show? They wouldn't have had a space shuttle.
So they just kept it with the Clipper ship an extra minute or two.
Oh, we got to shorten the song.
All right, Clipper ship for 5 beats instead of 2. Okay.
All right, shout out to the chat room time.
All right.
Trying to get. What are you trying to do? Oh, join us live Sundays at 9:30. I'm waiting for what is he working on?
What button is he pushing?
We do this podcast Sundays at 9:30 p.m. and we'd love to see you on Facebook or YouTube. We can get chats from both. It's kind of cool with the way we're doing this streaming. We have John Miller Jr., Mike Robeson, who says meep. What happens when we try and put a chat? Oh, yeah, it does one or the other. We mentioned my wife, Donna. We've got Amy Bowen, who's in there. So lots of people showing up on Sunday night to hang out with us. We'd love to see you there as well. It's always a fun time, especially if we get, the occasional guest like Brian Brown.
Yay. That's not so fun.
This is way easier. He didn't have to drive to get here, but he has to supply his own beverages.
Even Technorama's remote.
Wait, normally when Brian shows up, he brings beverages. This wasn't such a good idea.
No, I have a bottle of whiskey in my pantry for you, Chuck, by the way.
Okay. How's next?
It's Japanese rice whiskey. I did not care for it. For schnitzel. For schnitzel. For schnitzel. Yeah, it's a Japanese rice whiskey. I did not care for it, but you may like it.
I'll try it. Is it like a distilled sake or something?
No, it's just whiskey instead of made with barley, and it's made with rice.
So we have corn whiskey, barley whiskey, rice whiskey,
rye, and then you got rye. Excuse me,
wheat.
Why? Why?
I'm thinking about the 4 different types of Czech cereals.
We got wheat whiskey. We got corn whiskey.
Check out this Chex mix. It's got it all.
Honey Graham whiskey.
The Chex mix of whiskeys. I mixed them all together.
Mountain Dew.
Put a little Worcestershire sauce on it.
You want to talk about blended?
Chipotle
whiskey.
That's right.
Yeah. Next time I come up, I'll bring beverages. I have beer for you as well.
John Miller Jr., are you guys huffing some glue right now?
No, I picked the wrong week to stop huffing glue.
That's right.
Let's do some Remember When while we're here. There we are. So, I'll bet you didn't know. I'm not sure why Craig put this in the Remember When, except that it says 155 million years ago in the title. That was the qualifier, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Did you know fish can talk? And we're not talking about the Mr. Limpet movie with Don Knotts.
Yeah,
there's
actually that's what came to mind, to be honest with you.
No. So fish, they make noise. I mean, literally, different
the comment from the chat. Wait a minute.
Chex whiskey. It's great for starting something.
That's right.
Because no good story ever started out, I was eating Chex Mix.
That's right.
So tell us about these talking fish.
Yeah.
Finish.
People, and this isn't from drunk people having whiskey.
No.
This is from real scientists. They found out that different species of fish make different noises, and the reef is really a noisy place. And you don't really know it because they weren't really listening for it. They thought maybe 20% of the fish make noise with some sort of clicking, and we're not talking about dolphins and their sonar and whatnot, and whales with whale calls. They're not fish. Those are mammals. Fish can use their swim bladders to make noise, and not what you would think out of a bladder.
Like Craig making swim bladder noises?
One of these fishies makes a sound almost like a foghorn. It's like, we don't know what they're saying. Bell. They could be, making typical animal noises that say, I want food, stay out of my territory, and are you a prospective mate? See how big of a foghorn sound I can make.
In one sentence? Wow.
Well, what else do you talk about?
You're
Get it out of the way. One sentence. Yeah.
Some make clicking noises. They have some sound clips in here, like the long spine squirrelfish makes more of a clicking sound. So I found this interesting, and they've been doing this for a very long time. I don't know how they got recordings from 155 million years ago of these fish noises, but we know they make noises today, and fish haven't changed a whole lot in 155 million years ago. So there we are.
It says they have talked for 155 million years. They'll never shut up. I know people like that. I know fish like that.
Craig, you want to stay married?
No, I'm talking about my wife. Those are your words, not mine. Let's be clear.
I got Kim on speed dial. I'll call her real fast.
Right.
Do you know what your husband's saying about you on his podcast?
You talk like a fish.
Separate houses for quite a while.
Wait, you talk like a fish. Make a foghorn sound.
I thought I drank like a fish. Yeah. Now we're connecting the whiskeys again.
Yeah.
This research was published in Ichthyology and Herpetology, which is the study of fish and snakes or reptiles. If the nebula contained alcohol is not mentioned, it would be very disappointed. Oh, we talked about the alcohol nebula years ago.
A while ago.
Ethyl methyl alcohol. I'm going into space. Although it's in a
put my bucket out the window.
Yeah. That's right.
Stuff tastes like this tastes like nebula. Yeah.
And burnt steak.
Vader air out his TIE fighter out here.
All right, John Miller Jordan, you're stretching it there.
The fish fits.
Man. I was easing Chex Mix. Is that like slang term for something?
Sliding into the Chex Mix. I'm just easing into it.
The chat's amusing, to say the least. Very amusing.
Going? Yeah.
I think we've had our fill with that. Let's do something more serious, like thank our patrons. Because we just got paid yesterday as we record this for January. And thank you very much to everybody.
All
Your dollars go straight to the funding of this insane live stream, the hosting of our podcast. Lots of stuff. And I'm 6 months from now, we got a bill coming for domain registration. Should have put some reverb on that one. Yeah, it's every 5 years, and we're about to get there again. So thank you to Alexis Duran, Ember Elstad, Amy Bowen. Thank you, Abner Braverman. Thank you, Ben Vaughn and Mr. Brian Brown.
Glad to contribute, gentlemen.
Thank you in person. Chris MC, Dan DeMancoyer, Dean Jensen, Denise Inglis, Gary Lindros, who often hangs out in our chat, John Clifford, John Noble.
That John Noble?
Yes, the one from Star Trek Prodigy. I'm sure it's him. It just has to be.
Wormtongue?
We won't settle for less. Yorga Shrawan, Kyle Nishioka, Leon, Mark Kilfoyle, and returning member Matt Baum. He was off the roster for a while. He is back. So if you are
we goaded him back into the fold.
We did. It must have been my sales pitch last week. Matt Wills.
Or that guy we sent out to his house.
I think you mean
shame if something was to happen to your computer.
Don't you mean Mike Wills?
Mike Wills. Chris Martinez. No, Matt Baum is the new guy.
You said Matt Wills. That's why I was
okay. Matt Baum, Mike Wills, Chris Martinez, Saturday Morning Media, Stephen Weshy, Steve Therian, Steve Cody, and Sweet Steve London. Thank you all. They were able to go to patreon.com/Technorama podcast for as little as $1 a show. That's all it takes to make our day, to put a little extra funding in there for the year and push that budget over the top, enable us to do new things, not just keep the old things alive, which we want to do in most cases if they're working. So you do that. Patreon.com/Technorama podcast. The bribe with chicken wings helped. Got to get John back on that list. If that's what it takes, we'll get him some wings.
I can deliver him. He's not that far from me, actually.
Chicken wing man. Okay, we have a segment in this show called Pass Me the Remote, and it sounds like this.
Hand me that remote, Chuck.
And what we do on this segment is we often talk about shows, movies, what we've watched in the last week that you might find interesting and what we thought of them. So if we stubbed our toe on a stinker, you can stay away from it. Or maybe you're like Craig and you like things that I don't. So here's some feedback for you.
I like a lot of things as has been
that I find questionable.
Yeah.
So let's go around the table. I'll get started. I watched the special on Netflix called Clive Davis, The Soundtrack of Our Lives. This was a nice follow-up to my David Geffen special that I watched.
I saw that pop up on my list somewhere in there. Yeah.
Yep. So nice thing about David Geffen and Clive Davis, they're still alive to tell their story. And what a story they have had. So in case you don't remember the old days where we bought music on vinyl, Clive Davis originally went to school to be a lawyer. He took and passed the bar. And then through a series of odd circumstances, they put him in charge of music at CBS Records.
Right.
Which was kind of cool.
As people do.
Then he broke off and he discovered that he was really good at finding talent. He started Arista Records. Remember Arista?
Mm-hmm.
I spun a lot of their vinyl at the roller rink in the old days. So I remember a lot of these titles. He discovered Whitney Houston, and actually they focused a lot of the show on Whitney because that was the tightest relationship he had. But they also talked about Puffy Combs and a lot of these artists and how he went from pop, and he said, now it's time to branch out into country. Now it's time to branch out into R&B, and now it's time to branch out into hip hop. And really built this empire. He did have an unfortunate circumstance that he was implicated in something that he had nothing to do with, simply because other people had done something wrong that were adjacent to him. And that was really damaging, and he feels very let down and still feels it to this day. But it was a very interesting show, not just from a nostalgia, hey, I remember that artist, or I remember that song. Some nice behind the scenes looks to it, but an insider's look at what it took and comparing and contrasting and where their lives intersected between David Geffen. There was the other guy, I think it was from Elektra. So they had some of these serious old timers in the music industry, and you're thinking, this guy's like in his 60s and 70s, and he's still finding the top 40 hit artists and making their careers. And I found that phenomenal that, because I haven't listened to any current music in probably 30 years. I don't think I could do that, but that was his passion. I liked this show. It was a single episode documentary, 144, 2 hours, whatever it was. If you like those docuseries kind of things or documentaries, this is a good one for you. If you like your musical history, even better. I'm going to give this one a 9.5.
Wow.
They spent maybe a little too much time on Whitney Houston, but it was still very good.
I don't when I think of Geffen Records, I don't know why Peter Gabriel always pops in my head.
Asia for me.
Asia, yeah.
They
had a lot of acts. For sure.
Both of them found some awesome talent. Okay, what do you got one, Craig?
I do. Actually, I just finished today Murderville. I don't know if you've seen that on Netflix.
I have not seen that.
It's got Will Arnett. He plays a homicide detective, Terry Seattle, and he's reeling from the death of his partner. He's divorcing the police chief, and it's actually a scripted kind of murder plot. But he has a guest celebrity actor as his partner for each episode, and they do not have the script, so it's a lot of improv as they go through, and then at the end, the actor has to kind of, they have the three suspects together, and which one do you think it is, and they have to kind of guess by the hint or the the hints and stuff they've been writing down, trying to figure out who the murderer is, and it's pretty funny. And the last one had Ken Jeong, and he is hilarious. I mean, it was funny. He kept cracking up. He kept cracking up with the things that they were saying. So anyway, I recommend it. Some of it was better than others, but it was a lot of fun to watch. So I go check that out. I give that a solid. I say 8.5. I'll give it an 8.5.
All right, Brian, you want to throw one in the pot?
Yeah. As a matter of fact, on Netflix, the Sparks Brothers. It's a documentary about the band Sparks. I don't know if anybody's familiar with them.
I saw that come up on my list. I did not know what that was. So
I'm a huge fan. Have been for many, many years. Okay, they've been putting out albums for 50 years. So they started in the 70s. They've been around for a long time. It's the brothers Ron and Russell Mael. They've had a couple different backing bands, but it's primarily them. And Edgar Wright directs this documentary because he's a huge fan as well. And talks about their influence on all these really popular big bands: Pet Shop Boys, Erasure, Duran Duran, New Order, Franz Ferdinand, if you get into the new stuff. And so it's really super cool. They're very interesting guys to begin with, but it was so funny. For many years, people thought they were a British band, and they're not. They were both born and raised in California. And they have great songs.
How unusual.
They're fantastic. I love their music, and their music changes so much throughout their career because Ron writes most of the music, and Russell's the lead singer. But Ron also plays keyboards. They've done some really great collaborations too. Like they did a song with Giorgio Moroder, who is a huge synth pop guru. And so he helped produce an album for them. And Giorgio's been around forever and did some really cool things. And on their the two albums he produced with them, he changed their sounds. In the beginning, it's so funny because Todd Rundgren produced their very first album. So if you guys know who Todd Rundgren is, he's huge. That was their first band, Half Nelson, that they had. And Todd Rundgren's like, I love these guys. So it's cool. They interviewed Todd Rundgren, as well. It's really cool. It takes from their career in the very beginning all the way out till now, because they're still producing albums. Highly, highly recommend it. It's fascinating, even if you don't know who the Sparks are, or Sparks. It was originally called The Sparks, but
they dropped the "the."
Yeah, they dropped the "the." They absolutely they did. They're like, why Sparks? They actually originally called the Sparks Brothers. And they're like, lose the brothers part of it. No, how about the Sparks? No, let's just lose the
We're just S now.
Yeah. So, but it's fascinating. I mean, you probably have seen them because Ron has a little Hitler or Charlie Chaplin mustache that he wore for many years. And everybody was like, that guy's wearing a Hitler mustache.
What does that mean? Yeah.
Well,
technically, I found out I was watching I'll get to my other one in a second, but it's called the Toothbrush Mustache.
But, Toothbrush. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Or, Charlie Chaplin made it very famous, of course, Hitler, of course, so on and so forth. But it's excellent. And all right. It's about 2 hours long, and it's a documentary, but if you like music at all, it's very fascinating. And you may go, I kind of like these songs and they're interesting. They're very different sort of things, especially because their genre kind of does things. They do these big orchestral things. They do these big, Sgt. Pepper style albums where they're all interconnected. The songs are interconnected, and it's fascinating. And just to see them still now, in their, they got to be in their almost 70s, still touring and performing and putting out albums. So
That's got to be rough.
Yeah. Well, and they went through these periods where nobody knew them who they were or anything, and they had all these huge influences, and they tell these stories like they.
We've been podcasting too.
Well, no, it's so funny.
We know how it works.
Yeah. Well, it's so
We're
funny
a huge influence, and no one knows who we are.
Well, and that's the one of their old band members went up to one of the guys from Pet Shop Boys and said, "Hey, why don't you guys ever acknowledge Sparks?" He looked at him and went, "You're very cheeky," and walked off.
Yeah.
Because he knows that they were definitely influenced by Sparks. So anyways,
there's a lot of people in the music industry that just don't get recognized. Think of how many songwriters are out there that made songs that became really famous.
Studio musicians who are famous for working on studio albums. You need a bassist. This guy's your guy.
The producers, the Clive Davises of the world.
The Clive Davises, definitely.
It's crazy how many people out there, and God bless them. They do a great job, and they're filthy rich. They just don't get that recognition sometimes.
Yeah. But I highly recommend it. Yeah.
Oh, go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, it just if you enjoy music, it's really great. The cameos are great. Like Neil Gaiman has a cameo in it because he's like, yeah, they influenced me huge, Yeah, and it's just kind of hilarious to see them all talk about it. Edgar Wright, obviously, famous director, influenced by him as well. In fact, he actually gets in front of the camera at one point and talks about his experience as well. Okay. So it's pretty cool.
Awesome. What would you give it as a rating? 0 to 10?
I give it a 10 because I'm a big fan. So if you're not a fan, probably like a 9, just because it's a very fascinating look into the band in general and kind of the music industry and the highs and lows.
I'm gonna check that out then.
Yeah, it's good.
By the way, Technorama is really big in Stanley, Idaho. Just saying.
Stanley, Idaho.
You got this from where?
Our stats. There's 120 people there. That's about it.
Say we're really big in Canada.
Yeah.
All
Hey.
right, I'm going to throw a second one out there. We're before we run too far over our 1 hour mark. I'm going to get one called "How to Become a Tyrant." It's narrated by Peter Dinklage. It's a 5 or 6 part series, and they break them down into interesting chapters like win over the masses and kill your opponents. But then they hone in on one particular tyrant who did that thing well, like Hitler or Stalin or Gaddafi or even some more modern ones.
Pol Pot.
Yeah. He was mentioned a few times in there, but he wasn't the focus of any one episode. And I went, wow. They make it sound real easy. Like it's a recipe. It's a playbook you can follow to become a tyrant.
Right. So easy, even Craig could do it.
Step one.
It's frightening to look at even recent history and go, "Oh, this is eerily familiar." Some people became really close to following this playbook and becoming a tyrant. It create an enemy. Who you have to have a crisis, and then you blame the crisis on some faction or like.
Wow, are you serious? Chuck, no. That would never happen in modern society.
Right. And people were saying, how did all these people get sucked in by Hitler and his hype? It's like, trust me, anybody can fall victim. It's not like they were uneducated or anything.
Over there?
Yeah.
Hey, wait, people on your side?
Yeah. It was, I thought it was fascinating, scary. Narrated. It was narrated by Peter Dinklage, who really doesn't have a British accent except when he's on Game of Thrones.
No, but he has a good voice. I like his voice.
Yeah, and it was done very well in kind of a not cheeky way, but it says, hey, if your crowd turns on you, there's still one more thing you can do. North Korea. They went into how to. That was the final one. How to make your empire or your legacy go beyond your death. Because when let's see, Kim Jong-un right now, his dad was Kim Jong-il, and his dad was Kim Song-un. Yeah, yes, I think that's what it was. He started this whole thing like back in 1948. And
Cult of Personality.
The Cult of Personality, that's what it was. And their real saving grace was nuclear weapons. Like it would have died out at the first guy if the second guy, his son, hadn't stepped up. I mean, just fascinating historical stuff. I'm a history buff now.
Okay.
And this was fun from a historic perspective. Like, how did they get where they're going? Idi Amin was also a big feature in this one too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Although he only had like, what, an 8-year reign, but he failed to follow the playbook completely.
Maybe he should have subscribed to Netflix and watch the documentary.
Right. So I liked it. How to Become a Tyrant on Netflix. I've given this one a 10 just because I'm a history buff, and I think they did a great job of blending the historical with this playbook mentality and kind of keeping your eyes open to when these things pop up and you're going, this guy's following the playbook. I'm not following him.
Uh-oh, watch out.
Interestingly enough, they're all men. There were no women mentioned in here. So we have had no women tyrants as of so far.
Equal opportunity. It could happen.
That's right. Yeah. Women, here's your movie to watch if you want to become a tyrant.
That's right.
Man, there's money in it.
I bet there is.
One more, Craig.
I'll just mention it real quick. I just started Reacher, which is, the Jack Reacher series from Lee Childs. And it's not the Tom Cruise, obviously. This guy that's playing it fits the bill. I'm not that familiar with the books, other than I know about the source material. I'm not really, I haven't read any of them. But the guy's his playing is huge. He's 6'5" and pretty big. Anyway, he fits the bill for the character. I'm liking the show so far. I think I'm 3 episodes in. There's 6, I think, 6 or 8. And each season they said it was going to follow one of the books. There's 24 of the books, but each season's going to do one of the books for a story. So I'm enjoying it so far. I'll, chime back in once I finish it, but I like it. It's good.
Cool.
Good. Any others you want to throw in there, Brian?
No, I think I'm good because we're already running out of time.
And we still have one quick article here in the Geek Library. So
I just mention it and move on because I think, well, never mind.
We're moving on.
Okay.
Okay, we've got an article from The Verge that talks about an AI called DeepMind, which
and it's about me. I'm deep.
Well, it's a coding engine that it's an interesting article because at first they kind of lead you into, hey, this AI is going to start replacing programmers because it's as good as an average programmer. What did they say? It's in the top 53%.
54%.
54%.
Yeah.
It's why don't you just say it's as good as it's a half?
He's an okay coder. Yeah. He's a Craig level coder.
But the thing is,
they
said if you give it a really well-defined set of rules, it will turn out a pretty decent application. Well, yeah, most people will. What they don't see is as you're going, the requirements change. As you get to QA, the requirements change again. And even when you're in production, the requirements change again. So
somebody's putting notes on the desk for the robot or the AI, and it doesn't read the notes, but you would. So that gives you the advantage.
It's a sign of things that are coming, and I'm really kind of glad I'm nearing the end of my programming career. So this doesn't steal my job, but they say there's still more to it. You need that human finesse of a developer, an architect, a BA to work together to understand what really needs to be done between, the wants, the needs, the time it takes to do this. But
the cost.
It was yeah. But it maybe for some things, this would be a quick way to crank out, certain utilities that other developers could latch onto and maximize their value add time. So it's it was an interesting read, I thought.
We might be able to code Craig.
Code me?
Yeah, make a AI coded
Craig.
Yeah,
Craig. Yeah,
the world needs more than one of me.
No, we're thinking we don't need any of you. We just need a computer.
I don't like where this is going.
I'm not comfortable with this discussion anymore.
Greg, you've been outsourced.
Thank you, everybody. Have a good night.
Craig, you bet AI bought 5,000. Sorry.
That's right. Oh well. Yeah.
All right, this is we're going to close out with the intriguing question of the week. Something to think about, because I got to think about this one as well. Without using standard measurements of time, hours, minutes, second, days, years, how old are you? Describe how old you are without using standard measurements of time.
Okay.
The moonshot.
Well, I'm thinking moons, because they used to say many
moonshot.
moons ago.
That's
My child is 32 moons old. I mean, would that work? Or would you, Craig? You're saying a historical reference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
a point in time reference.
Yeah,
That's what I would do.
My birthday.
I was thinking,
moonshot.
maybe fortnights.
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 Scores.
Right.
Those are measurements of time, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's
Or
not. Fortnight isn't a standard measurement of time. People will use it to say, 2 weeks from now or 2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
but it's not
my
like
calendar
you
invites
tell
don't say a fortnight from now.
Right. or 72 fortnights from now.
Yeah. That's right.
So something to think about.
Yeah, I would say historical, maybe products of the time, anything like that. Yeah.
All right. Amy says, that's a great question of the week. And I can't wait to hear her answer on this one.
That's right. That's right.
Think about it. Okay. That takes us to the end of the show. If you are out there in listener land, tell them how they can get in touch with us, Craig.
Oh, okay. So you can visit us. Wait, you can call the listener. Wait, you want the banner?
I said tell them, not show them. So I got the banner up.
You got the
banner
up.
That was a seamless handoff.
Chuck, like I was saying, code Craig in.
That's right. Well, usually Chuck's in this thing, so I'll do it. Anyway, you can call the listener
Say
line
there's
at
artificial intelligence, but there's no intelligence here.
Beep bop. I do not understand.
Invalid input request.
Yeah, that's right. Divide by 0. You can call the listener line at 707-530-CHAT. That's 2428. You can also email us, technorama@chuckchat.com. And we're also all over the internet. Just search for Technorama Podcast, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, you name it. And you can also find us on Spotify and all those other good places and where you can find all your podcasts. You can find us as well.
And be sure to stick around. Well, we're going to be stopping the stream, but we are going to be sticking around to record that Patreon show for our special members, because not only do they get that awesome shout out in the chat, they have special content. So Brian and Craig and I are going to talk about our topic of the week for 20, 30
I got
minutes.
topics. I actually got some topics.
Excellent. Are they
I got a
hot
topic.
topics?
The topic is Trek. Oh, wait, wrong podcast.
Sort of
Thursday
wrong
night.
place.
Thursday night.
We record that every fortnight.
Yeah.
All right. Till next time. Give them a binary high five, Craig.
All right. 101. Bye, everybody.
Audio recording is stopped.
That was about Bad Robot. Okay.
J.J. Abrams production company.
Yeah.
Bad Robot.
Need some lens flare.
Yeah. Oh, my eyes.
Clinton gave us a hey.
That's right.
You're welcome, Clinton. It's that same. I can hear it. It's the same hey he gives us when we play the Sir Patrick Stewart clip on.
I expect the check to be cut in my name soon, Clinton. Thank you.
We had our annual meeting at church today, and Tom, the other guy who does the video with me, goes, "How come there's no line item in here for salaries for the sound booth crew?"
Well,
because if they had line items for everything that was 0, we'd have a 14-page report.
we quit paying them years ago. We kind of fixed the glitch. They'll just kind of go away.
Clinton says it's in the mail, Brian.
That's
All right. We are going to stop the
buddy.
stream. We're going to stop the stream, and we are going to record our Patreon show. So thank you, everybody who's joined us. Hope to see you again next Sunday night on the same place, Facebook and YouTube. Subscribe, like, you know what to do.
Yeah, make it happen.
Thanks. Bye.